अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. नमा ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने. नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशे तारिणे. जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. हरे कृष्णा मेघना माता जी, कश्यप प्रभु.
हरे कृष्णा माता जी.
हरे कृष्ण. Okay, so let's continue. Yeah, so we learned about that whole sequence of how the bhakti progresses and how one can cut off the knot of fruitive work, because that's what is keeping us in this material world. And when does that knot cuts off? When one is situated in pure mode of goodness and is continuing to enhance his devotional service. And that's how the effect of mode of passion, ignorance, because of which we do fruitive work, that is completely removed, and one is situated in pure goodness, not the material goodness, but pure goodness, where he is constantly serving Krishna. And then that knot of that granthi, or that knot of fruitive work, is destroyed, because of which we are in this material world. Why? Because we keep getting good or bad results if we are doing some fruitive work, keeping ourselves in the center. But if we keep Krishna in the center, and if we do serve Krishna, and if we do work on Krishna's behalf or for Krishna, then we are not generating any reactions at all. Okay, but if we are keeping ourselves in the center, then we are generating reactions, and for that we have to come back again and again in this samsara chakra to get those results. Okay, so then we will move on, and then one verse, now we are switching to a different set of verses, where these three modes of material natures are described in detail, and how these different deities are connected to these modes of nature. So it is very important for us to understand that these deities are not in those modes of nature. Okay, these are presiding deities, so they are just presiding those modes, or they control that particular mode. You might have seen, like Lord Shiva, some pictures sometimes. So there are bhuta ganas, right, in his entourage, like many bhutadi ganas are coming in his entourage, or in the procession and in which Lord Shiva is going. So he gives shelter to such people who are in the mode of ignorance, right? So there are people who do black magic, or who worship ghosts or something, or do some tantric activities or this and that. So Lord Shiva actually takes such people in his shelter, because he Shiva means pure, right? So by taking his shelter, people will gradually become pure. Okay, and that's why he has accepted all these things which we connote as dirty, like dirty or abominable or inauspicious, right? Like the ashes from the cremation ground. So he puts those ashes on his body. So why he does that? Because he's purest, very pure, right? He's the Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu. That is a verse in Srimad Bhagavatam. I don't recall the complete verse, but it says like Ganga is the purest river. Similarly, the purest Vaishnava is Lord Shiva. So because he's pure, he makes all the impure things also pure. So that's why he accepts, which are generally rejected by people. So he accepts, and that's why he's like very close to people in general in material world, right? Similarly, Lord Brahma is the presiding deity, or the he controls the mode of passion, which is related to creation, means like make create something. So he created this material universe by the help of ingredients that were given to him by Krishna. So when we will go forward in reading of Srimad Bhagavatam, so we will see that sarga, or the creation topic will come. So there we will see that Krishna is the primary creator who brings in the ingredients, right? Who gives, or who give, or what do you say, who actually gives access to the ingredients. And once we have the ingredients, like how in homes we cook, so when we get the ingredients, then only we can prepare something, right? So similarly, Brahmaji gets ingredients from Krishna, by Krishna's mercy, and then he creates the material universe only under guidance of Krishna. So the people who are in more in this creative mode, that they want to create something and they are very passionate about that, then they are in mode of passion, and such people are sheltered by Lord Brahma. But those people who are in mode of goodness, generally they like to maintain the things, right? Or the maintain the systems, or maintain the house, like cleanliness and repairs. They will maintain the things. So such people are in mode of goodness, and they are sheltered by Lord Vishnu. So, but yes, everybody has mixed modes. So that's what this verse was about. So let's move on to the next verse. Probably I said that maybe we will have to revisit this. So yeah, we should actually revisit this. This is important. So Lord Krishna, by his plenary part, should be rendered devotional service. Uh, so his plenary parts are Vishnu Tattva. And yeah, so Prabhupada ji explains what are these Vishnu Tattvas, and then he explains various avatars, right? Purusha Avatara, Leela Avatara, those kind of. And then he also says that, yeah, so then he's giving details of how Brahmaji is the deity of Rajas, and Lord Shiva is the deity of destruction, right? Or ignorance. So anger, he shows some anger, and then he does perform Tandav Nritya to annihilate the creation, this material creation, which is created by Brahmaji. And Lord Vishnu maintains this creation, right? So, but then Prabhupada again comes to his topic that important, that but people don't understand all these things, and they worship Lord Shiva and Brahma respectively, thinking that they have like separate existence from Lord Vishnu. So worshipping of Lord Brahma and Shiva, respecting them, is not at all wrong. Worshipping the demigods is fine, but if we take their shelter, considering them independent of Krishna, then that's an offense actually to these deities as well as to Krishna, because these deities know that they are subordinate to Krishna, and if we consider them as supreme Lord, then they cannot accept that worship, because that's not the truth, right? So that's why Prabhupada is explaining that pure transcendentalists worship the forms of goodness, Vishnu and his various forms, like Vishnu tattvas, like Rama, Narsimha, Varaha. All these are Vishnu tattvas, right? So when we go to a Shiva temple, it's not that we shouldn't go. We should definitely go, and we should offer our respects to Lord Shiva. We should bow down, but we should always request that we become more, we can offer more service to Krishna, and we become good devotees of Krishna. So that is what the benedictions we can ask from Lord Shiva, and he will be very happy to give those benedictions. Why? Because he himself is telling in Rudra Gita in Srimad Bhagavatam, that part will also come when he is speaking with Prachetas. So he is telling that you all should worship Lord Vishnu. That will make me very happy. And many such references are there. So this is very important to understand. And then Prabhupada is also talking about that why this material creation is made actually. So this is for correction of the living entities, like because we are in the middle, right? So we always discuss this, that there is internal energy of Krishna and there is external energy of Krishna on other side. So one is called as Antaranga Shakti and another is called as Bahiranga Shakti. But we are the jivas in middle, right? So either we take shelter in Bahiranga Shakti or Antaranga Shakti. So if we are performing Krishna conscious activities like in service to Krishna, so then we are situated in Antaranga Shakti more, right? But if we don't remember Krishna most of the day, then obviously we are situated in the Bahiranga Shakti of Krishna, right? So although both are Shaktis of Krishna, but then we become separated energies, right? So that's why when we take shelter more in Bahiranga Shakti, then this material universe actually puts us in such circumstances that it gets proved that this is not the place for us. And nobody does it on purpose. The nature of this material world is like that, of being temporary, right? So if we say that fire should not be hot, then we are just going against fire's nature. So similarly, this material world's nature itself is to be temporary and get annihilated again and again. So that's why once we understand this, that this material world is so temporary and our worries, our concerns are like just a flick of a second in the eternity, then we start getting above, beyond these modes. And then we want to worship Krishna more, because that's the best of our interest for eternity, right? When we understand like that, and when our mind becomes convinced like that, then we remember Krishna more. And then slowly we start shifting to more toward internal energy of Krishna. So then we take shelter there, and then we are slowly moving closer to our constitutional position of being a eternal servant of Krishna, right? So that is very, very important. So coming to this material world is not a waste of time. It is a good learning for us to understand Krishna better. Many times we understand something by staying away from that something which is of value, right? So that's why it is very important. Okay, so let's move on to the next verse. 1 to 24. Parthiva daruno dhumastस्माद् अग्निस्त्रयीमयः तमसस्तु रजस्तस्मात् सत्वं यद ब्रह्मदर्शनम. Parthivat, from earth, darunah, firewood, dhumah, smoke, tasmat, from that, agni, fire, trayi, Vedic sacrifices, mayah, made of, tamasah, in the mode of ignorance, tu, but, rajah, the mode of passion, tasmat, from that, satvam, the mode of goodness, Yat, which Brahma, the absolute truth, darshanam, realization. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Firewood is a transformation of earth, but smoke is better than raw wood, and fire is still better. For by fire, we can derive the benefits of superior knowledge through Vedic sacrifices. Similarly, passion, rajas, is better than ignorance, but goodness is best because by goodness, one can come to realize the absolute truth. Right? So now this, what do you call it, analogy has been given here in Srimad Bhagavatam, that Lord Vishnu or the goodness is compared to firewood, and passion is compared to what? Or what passion is compared to? Sorry, goodness is compared to fire, passion is compared to smoke.
Smoke.
Yes.
Smoke. Yeah.
And ignorance is compared to firewood.
Wood.
Yes. So wood is a transformation of earth, means what? That we get trees from earth, right? So that is firewood. But it has inside it, the fire is there inside the wood, right? Only it needs to be ignited. But okay, some smoke is coming out, like we in yagnas, we see some smoke comes first. So that is still better. But fire is best because then we can offer some sacrifice and then get the benefit of superior knowledge. So similarly, these in these modes, the goodness is best. Purport. As explained above, one can get release from the conditioned life of material existence by devotional service to the personality of Godhead. It is further comprehended herein that one has to rise to the platform of mode of goodness so that one can be eligible for the devotional service of the Lord. So, what does this mean? That we should not remain complacent, as I discussed in Bhakti Vriksha also a few times, that we need to remain a little bit in stretch zone. Okay, because sometimes what happens that oh, my mind doesn't want to get up early, so I will just sleep, and that's okay. So we slept, but then what is happening is it is creating a dominoes effect. Then our work is late, then so many things are pending. So this way the chanting would never happen itself, right? So that's why we should try to not cater everything to our mind's directions. We should try to push against our mind also in a little bit stretch zone. Yeah, Prabhu, yeah, see, yeah, you can continue from here. Yeah, so yeah, in mode of goodness we become eligible for devotional service, at least start practicing the devotional service. Yeah.
Devotional service of love. But if there are impediments on the progressive path, anyone, even from the platform of tamas, can gradually rise to the sattva platform by the expert direction of the spiritual master. Sincere candidates must therefore approach an expert spiritual master for such a progressive march, and the bona fide expert spiritual master is competent to direct a disciple from any stage of life, tamas, rajas, or sattva. It is it is a mistake, therefore, to consider that worship of any quality or any form of the supreme personality of Godhead is equally beneficial. Except Vishnu, all separated forms are manifested under the conditions of material energy, and therefore the forms of material energy cannot help anyone to rise to the platform of sattva, which alone can liberate a person from material bondage. The uncivilized state of life, or the life of the lower animals, is controlled by the mode of tamas. The civilized life of a man with a passion for various types of material benefits is the stage of rajas. The rajas stage of life gives a slight clue to the realization of the absolute truth in the form of fine sentiments in philosophy, art, and culture, with moral and ethical principles. But the mode of sattva is still higher stage of material quality, which actually helps one in realizing the absolute truth. In other words, there is qualitative difference between the different kinds of worshipping methods as well as the respective results derived from the predominating deities, namely Brahma, Vishnu, and Hara.
Hmm. So we saw like what are the characteristics of these people in these modes, right?
Hmm.
Like civilized, uncivilized state of life, or like that of lower animals, is tamas. Passion for various material benefits is rajas. Rajas has a little benefit, like what? Slight clue to realization of absolute truth in the form of fine sentiments in philosophy, art, culture, like that, moral and ethical principles. But sattva is highest, which actually helps one in realizing the absolute truth. So that is our goal, to remain in mode of goodness as much as possible. You will see that in the morning, if we are waking up early, then it is the time of mode of goodness. But as the afternoon approaches, we are work, 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 and just thinking of work. And then by the night, we are on reels. Right? So that is a mode of ignorance. I mean, we, each individual of us can see how the modes are affecting us, throughout the day. Like we get different feelings and emotions also due to these modes, right? So generally, if one is calm and peaceful, they are in mode of goodness. But one who is getting agitated again and again, then they are in mode of passion plus ignorance. But one is like very lazy, not getting agitated or angry, but they are just not doing anything, not contributing or anything, just being there, or lazy. So they are in mode of ignorance, right? So that these things must be understood for our practical application also. And here very important point Prabhupada said, that we should approach a spiritual master. But if there are impediments on progressive path, anyone even from platform of tamas can gradually rise to sattva by expert direction of spiritual master. Because spiritual master actually clears off so many misconceptions. The problem is that we have so many misconceptions, and we have so much faith in those misconceptions, that because of that the situation doesn't change for us, like, it just remains the same. And that way we start thinking that, oh, this process doesn't work. But actually, along with the process, we should be ready to be detached from our misconceptions. Because if new concepts are being given from the guru, sadhu, and shastra, then we should be submissive to accept those, that okay, we will take this up, right? And that is for our eternal benefit. Okay. So that's why here this recommendation has been given by Srila Prabhupada in purport. Sincere candidates must therefore approach an expert spiritual master for such a progressive march. And the bona fide expert spiritual master is competent to direct a disciple from any stage of life, and he will pick us up, right? Like that. Yeah.
Actually,
And
Matak,
this.
this also reminds me of one in the Vedic class only.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much relatable to that. I don't know, at least in my mind, because they were talking about like those 18
Yes,
Upanishads,
Puranas in three
Puranas, and
different modes. Yes.
three different modes.
Yeah.
And that this is also very much like, Shiv Puran was part of that,
Mm-hmm.
of
Yeah,
the
Tamasic, yes.
Tamasic Purana. So I asked the question to Prabhu that, is this like the basic nature of a person, or is it like, are they born with this, or are there
Mm.
different stages of life? But I think this, at least this purport gave me a bit of an answer on that. Like, they can rise from one stage to the other if
Absolutely.
given the right direction.
Yeah. They are not imprisoned into that mode. I mean, it's all our choices what we are making, right? So if we know that something is like, for example, if a drunkard knows that, oh, this is not good for me, I should not be doing that. then it's just a matter of his choice. He can just change everything within a day. So somebody asked Prabhupada how long it takes to become Krishna conscious, and Prabhupada said, just a moment. you know so by making exact choices, to move toward Krishna, it is easily possible. But to make that choice is very, very difficult, and that's why guru's support is required, a guru's guidance or direction is required. Because when we are trying alone, then in one sense we are just following a ascending process. But when we take shelter of a guru, then it becomes a descending process, right? So that's how the mercy flows from Krishna. Okay, from Krishna it comes down toward us. So yes, it is very much possible to move to mode of goodness from any other mode completely, and then gradually to pure goodness. And of course, then pure goodness is like, we read all those verses, right? What happens in pure goodness? We can realize ourselves and Krishna both. So let's move to the next verse quickly. 1 to 25. भेजिरे मुनयोथाग्रे भगवन्तम् अधोक्षजं सत्वं विशुद्धं क्षेमाय कल्पन्ते येनुतानिनः. Bhejire rendered service unto Munayah, the sages, Atha, thus, Agre, previously, Bhagavantam, unto the personality of Godhead, Adhokshajam, the transcendence, Sattvam, existence, Vishuddham, above the three modes of nature, Kshemaya, to derive the ultimate benefit, Kalpante, deserve, Ye, those, Anu, follow, Tan, those, Iha, in this material world. Yes, Prabhu, you want to read?
Yes. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Previously, all the great sages rendered service unto the personality of Godhead due to his existence above the three modes of material nature. They worshipped him to become free from material conditions and thus derive the ultimate benefit. Whoever follows such great authorities is also eligible for liberation from the material world. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The purpose of performing religion is neither to profit by material gain, nor to get the simple knowledge of discerning matter from spirit. The ultimate aim of religious performances is to release oneself from material bondage and regain the life of freedom in the transcendental world, where the personality of Godhead is the supreme person. Laws of religion, therefore, are directly enacted by the personality of Godhead, and except for the Mahajans or the authorized agents of the Lord, no one knows the purpose of religion. There are 12 particular agents of the Lord who knows the purpose of religion, and all of them render transcendental service unto him. Persons who desire their own good may follow these Mahajanas, and thus attain the supreme benefit.
Hmm. So there are 12 Mahajans noted in our Shastras. There is a verse, I'm not remembering that, but yeah, Prahlad Maharaj is there, Ashwathama is there, Bali Maharaj, Vyasdev, like these great personalities are there who know the actual purpose of religion. I don't know if Ashwathama is there or not. I will have to confirm. But yeah, that verse is there. Yeah, let me quickly check. Ashwathama, Balirvyaso, Hanumanscha Vibhishanah, Krupa, Parshuramashcha, Sapte. Oh, Chirajeevinah. These are Chiranjeevis. Okay, sorry. My bad. These are the Chiranjivas, but yeah, 12 Mahajans verse is also there. So Brahma, Narada, Shiva, four Kumaras, Kapila, Manu, Prahlad, Janak, Bhishma, Bali, Shukadev Goswami and Yamaraja. So sorry, in this list, Ashwatthama is not there. He's in Chiranjeevis, so will live for a long, long time. So this list is there. I can post this list. Um, and this comes from Srimad Bhagavatam 6.3.20.21. Okay. And then what else I was going to say was, yeah, in this verse, um, yeah, so previously great sages, so that's why we have to follow them. So they rendered service to personality of Godhead because he is beyond the modes of nature, because he controls the material energy, and material energy is actually consisting of these three modes. So Krishna actually controls them. And that reminds me of a story. I'll just say it quickly. So there were many fish in a pond, and or in a river probably. So always the fishermen would come, and some fish will be gone. But there was one fish who always saw one fish which was very young but was never caught. So she asked that fish that, what is the secret of your being saved? I'm always so worried that I will be caught sometime. So that fish tells that whenever this fisherman comes, I see, and then I just hide myself near his feet. So when, because he puts the net forward direction, so I'm never caught. So that was such a great idea, right? So Prabhupada told this story. So that means if we take shelter in Krishna's lotus feet, so this material energy will never be able to catch us, right? So because Krishna is beyond the modes of nature, and he actually controls the modes of nature. So this, they worshipped him to become free from material condition and thus derive ultimate benefit. So what people do is, like Prabhupada is saying, performing religion is neither for profit or material gain. But what people generally do is dharma, artha, kama, moksha, right? So they perform dharma to get artha, means wealth. And then from wealth, what do we do? Sense gratification, right? Artha and then kama. And then after sense gratification, one is very frustrated because there is no fun in this sense gratification. Only some preliminary years of marriage there is, like, liking husband and liking for each other, and all like common goals and all that, but later on everything goes ever, and fault finding in each other and all that. So then people get frustrated, and then they take shelter of dharma, moksha. They want moksha. They want freedom from all these miseries. They don't want anything now. So see, dharma is also, one is in the center. Artha is also, he is in the center. Kama is also, he is in the center. And finally, even if he wants liberation, then also he's thinking of himself only, that I want to get rid of these miseries. When is the person thinking about serving Krishna, right? So, which is our ultimate benefit. So that's why Prabhupada has given us this direct method of chanting Hare Krishna. Means what? Directly we are taking Krishna's holy name. So what can be more direct service than this, right? And then of course, I mean, deity worship, everything Prabhupada has given us. So whether qualified or not, everyone is eligible to serve Krishna. It's only a matter of choice to move forward, right? So okay, we will stop here. If any question or any comment is there, I will also feel enlivened by your comments, or any corrections. Please feel free. Yeah, Sachin Prabhu, your hand is raised, so you have something.
No, Mataji, actually, it was just for reading. But yeah, I think I shared my thought
Yes.
in the middle, so
Mm-hmm.
I'll just take it that way only.
Yes, yes.
There's always a gradual progression in life, so you have to just choose the right thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that life does to us, but we also need to do some deliberation also, right?
Yeah.
So that is also very, very important, that thoughtful next step, slowly.
Right.
Anything else? Okay, so we will stop here, and I will see you on Monday, but most of us, we will meet on Friday. It's a party time. Thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna.
Mataji.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Hare Krishna.